Hi, my name is Emily Downs, and this is week 6 physical plan. So, for this week, some things that we have to consider when looking at the physical plan is the philosophic considerations. So, the individuals involved when creating a budget. These individuals could include government officials at the city, state, or national level. It would also include school administrators and program coaches. It is really important with all these individuals involved that there is a high amount of communication and teamwork, and this is to ensure that the team produces a resourceful and well-organized budget. It is also important to include these stakeholders mentioned to ensure valuable information is provided and program priorities are accomplished. Once a budget is finalized, budgets do have to go through an approval process. And one thing to also consider is budgets are ever changing, and this could be due to a variety of factors, which could include but not limited to environmental changes, government funding, participation rates, or sponsorships. And due to these inconsistent changes, the model budget that I chose to follow for week 6 is a zero-based budget. So a zero-based budget is a budget where the athletic director's budget must be justified from scratch or zero for all existing and new requested programs, so they can use previous year's budgets to compare for the next fiscal year. However, if it's a new requested program, you're going to start from zero with a zero-based budget. So zero-based budgets are conducted each fiscal year for each program, so this can be very time-consuming for an athletic director. However, it allows the athletic director to look at each item that is being purchased for each program. It also allows for the athletic director and the coach to collaborate more often, and this is important because the coach can provide the athletic director exactly what the team needs in order to continue to operate, or if it's a new program, in order to operate. So what is the priorities, the pieces of equipment or the facility updates that have to happen in order for the sport to operate for the upcoming fiscal year. It's also important that the athletic director and coach collaborate because during the proposal, they need to be on the same page in order to justify and defend why they are requesting the items that they are requesting. So the purpose of the program and an objective based on the budget for the fiscal year, how does the program budget need adjusting? So you can look back on the previous year to see what was purchased and see if you can minimize any spending due to changes in the program or the budget. You'll also want to identify what items can be used for another year. So maybe you purchased uniforms the previous year and these uniforms can be used again next year. And then also looking at what items are priorities for programs to continue to operate. So this might be last fiscal year if part of a facility was not functioning properly and it needs to be up and operating for safety purposes, that would be a priority that would need to be fixed to continue to operate for the next fiscal year. It's also important for programs to have participation and achievement to maintain support. And this is important because if a donor or individuals in the community they would like to show support for specific programs, they like to provide that support for the programs that have high participation and have high achievements within their sport. So what do donations in community sport look like in this budget? So donations or community funding can be provided to the entirety of the school's athletic program. No donations or monies can be provided towards a specific program, and this is in place just due to if there is a lot of donations toward the football team doesn't have a very high budget versus a team that doesn't get much support within the program that is provided a lower budget because they don't get as much support from the community or as many donations. So no donations or monies can be provided towards a specific sport. However, individuals, if they want to provide support or donations to a specific program, they have the opportunity to provide their time as a volunteer to help save costs for that specific program. So when a donation comes in or community funding comes in, it comes into the school's athletic program as a whole, and it is left up to the athletic director to decide how to utilize that donation or money or where it fits best to support the budget and the programs. Controlling costs of programs. So for controlling the costs of the programs throughout the fiscal year, an important responsibility as the athletic director is to evaluate all programs. You want to look at what was budgeted for during the current fiscal year and begin to assess how the current budget supported the program overall. So these assessments can also be time-consuming with a zero-based budget because you're looking at each program specifically, but this is how an athletic director can really gauge upcoming budgets and begin to plan and prepare for any budget cuts that could be coming. So, for example, an athletic director can control the cost of programs by looking at maybe we should decrease how far teams travel to away games. They could also look at maybe we decrease the number of away games certain programs have. Or, if a competitor wants to play against you, maybe you ask the competitor, we would love to play against you, however, our budget can't support it, could you guys come to us and have more competitors come to your home facility. You could also control the cost of programs by finding volunteers to assist in the event worker tasks. So, like I mentioned before, if there's an individual that would like to support a specific program or donate to a specific program, they can donate their time and eliminate or minimize the cost of that you would pay for the event workers to complete tasks like facility supervision or gate ticket sales, concession sales, event worker tasks like that. The volunteers could use their time and not be paid to work for that event. The other option is the athletic programs can offer the pay-to-play, and this includes where students will pay a fee for the sport in which they participate in. However, throughout the entire budget process, it's important as an athletic director to hide the deficiencies from the students. One thing with the pay-to-play is it can be good, but you do not want the money to come in the way of the students' interest in participating in programs. So when we get to philosophy of seeking outside funding, it's really important to build rapport with the community, and those individuals within the community will value your relationship either as an athletic director or as an athletic coach. When you're looking at the pay-to-play, there could be stakeholders that will donate certain donations to the athletic program to support those individuals that cannot afford to pay the sport fee for pay-to-play. And this is one way of building a good relationship with individuals within the community to help support your program. Another way to seek outside funding is networking with local businesses. So local businesses, maybe they have been a business for some time, or maybe they are a new business, but they may want to advertise their business in support of the athletic program. And so they may want to advertise within your home facilities or on uniforms or on the equipment that you use within practices and competitions to be able to advertise their local business, but in addition to support your athletic program as well. Looking at program expansion, it's important for the athletic director to look at the future of each program, so evaluating the number of participants each team can afford and whether or not tryouts need to be put in place, and also how to draw funds needed for a program to continue to operate are all important elements that an athletic director has to consider. It's also constantly growing. the expansion of the athletic program. So that's really important as an athletic director, is you want to be going in the right direction of growing your program. So one way to look at that is if you feel your budget cannot help support your program or to help grow your program, to look at fundraising opportunities. So fundraising opportunities are a great way to bring in additional funds to help control your budget. One way for a zero-based budget, you may bring in certain fundraising funds for a fiscal year, and you could use that number to gauge for the next year. However, you may increase on those fundraisers, or you may add a new fundraiser within the next fiscal year, or you could decrease on those fundraisers as well. So specific guidelines when utilizing fundraisers, it's important that the coaches and the athletes are educated in what the fundraiser is and how it should be conducted. You want to make sure that if the time is being spent outside of practice and competition for student athletes and coaches, that the fundraiser is conducted effectively. It also must be conducted in a team or organizational setting. So one person or one athlete cannot go out and conduct a fundraiser on their own. It has to be conducted within a team or an organizational setting. So maybe a football team or the athletic program as a whole. Students nor coaches can receive gifts. So that's important when you are looking at fundraising. They cannot receive gifts from sponsors for selling products or for participating in a fundraiser. However, an entire team can be rewarded, whether that be with new equipment or warm-ups by the athletic director. Another way a team could be rewarded is the opportunity to purchase an item from the coach's wish list. So we created a wish list based on priority in week 5 of equipment that we would need based on priority for our team to be able to operate. So maybe a team won a fundraising competition within the athletic program for that fiscal year, so that team gets an item off of their wish list. So this wish list could be maybe something that we were able to provide you at the beginning of the fiscal year, the 8 items on the top 8 items from your priority list. However, your 9th and 10th item you wanted, but we weren't able to provide that with the funds we had at the beginning of the fiscal year. However, with the amount of fundraising that you've done, the athletic budget can support the additional funding needed to purchase that item off of your wish list. So this is kind of what a zero-based budget looks like, with these considerations of the fundraising and the community support, and looking at expanding the program and controlling the costs, and what the purpose is, and the philosophic considerations that you have to consider when using a zero-based budget.